Okay, let's see if I still know how to do this. So, as of recording this video, the new year has just kicked off, and I know that we all love that whole fresh start, new year feeling. So, I wanted to do this video not just as a way to help kick off the new year right, but also as just a little list, a quick, handy list of things that you can do to make sure that any time of the year, not just January, feels like a fresh start. Hi everyone, my name is Micah Gonzalez. That's Mica Gonzalez with a Z. It's been a hot minute since I got on YouTube, but I thought that this video would be a great way to kick off the channel for 2022. I can't believe that I'm saying that's actually the year we're in. But anyway, I always have been a believer that we don't have to wait for the next year in order to do new things. So I know that sometimes it's hard to do that. That whole starting again feeling is a little bit hard to do. So, in order to help you with that, I did compile this handy, quick list of 10 things that you can do that will always make you feel like you're having a fresh start. So, let's get into it. Let's kick things off with tip number one, which is to create a list of things that you are grateful for that happened in the previous season. Now, previous season can mean anything from the previous year, like now in 2022, what you were grateful for in 2021, or it can also mean anything like what I was grateful for from the previous quarter, month, or whatever. Basically, whenever you need a fresh start, just look back at what happened recently and start yourself off with a gratitude list. And even if it feels like there aren't many things to stay grateful about, I swear, when you try to force yourself to think of them anyway, it just helps put you in this more positive and optimistic outlook, and it makes you remember that there are things to be grateful for even when it feels like there isn't. The second thing that you can try to do is to make a donation to a charity or cause of your choice. Science has actually shown that whenever we do positive acts of kindness, whether it's random or really thought out like these ones, it makes us feel happier as well. And I think that helps us feel a fresh start kind of feeling because we are, we're kind of like putting away the bad energy and putting in good ones. And what better way to get good energy around us than by doing something good for other people, especially the people who need it. And another nerdy fact is that science shows that happier, more joyful people actually are more productive. So yes, when we do things that make us joyful, make us happy, we actually prime ourselves up for more productivity in the long term. The third thing you can do, which is one of my personal favorites, is to declutter your old things to make room for some new ones. I'm probably not the only one guilty of keeping things in my closet, for example, even though I haven't used them in like a year or two. So this is the perfect time to just declutter and get rid of all these things. It's not only things in your closet, by the way. I love to get rid of things from like my tech collection and all that stuff, my makeup collection. I like to just give them away either to charities if I can find one nearby, or sometimes I'll just hand it over to a friend who obviously wants it more than I do. It's been super great to have that feeling of turning stuff over and feeling like I can welcome in new stuff down the road. Idea number four, one of my personal favorites again, is to thank someone who made your year or previous season a great one. This is kind of banking off tip number one, which is about a gratitude list, but this time you are combining tip number one and this other tip that I mentioned about doing acts of kindness and putting it into just one handy little tip and thanking somebody who made your year or previous season a good one. This is a tiny thing, but I think it goes a long way. When you welcome all these feelings of gratitude and express it to somebody else, then number one, you're just not helping you feel good, you're helping somebody else feel good. And I think that's always just a good thing because when we feel good and we make others feel good, the whole cycle continues. We are just happier, healthier, better people to everybody, and that doesn't hurt. Tip number five, and I cannot believe I haven't said this yet, start a passion project. If there has been a project you've been wanting to start for the longest time now, consider this as your sign to either start it or to start again. I know a lot of people have started passion projects in the past, but maybe they kind of fizzled out. And I'm here to remind you that it's 100% okay to just start over. That's the whole thing about this whole video, right? Which is fresh starts and feeling like we're starting anew. Why not start anew with that passion project, whether it's a brand new one you've always wanted to start or something that kind of fell into the back burner but you've been wanting to pick up again? And if you've never heard of a passion project, you don't know what it is, or you're looking for ideas, then check the link in the description below because I show you a whopping list of 360 plus passion project ideas based on mediums that you can try and topics that you might be interested in. Tip number six, not very popular, but I need to say it anyway, is to stop following or start muting people who are just not giving you the energy you want to be surrounded by. When we are starting a fresh season, I think it's important to set up everything everything in our lives in accordance to that direction that we want to be in. So if we have people in our lives or accounts that we're following that are not doing that for us, it's really, really hard to feel like we're starting fresh, we're starting a brand new thing. It's like we're turning over a new leaf. It's very hard to do that. So the simple solution is to either unfollow those people, those accounts that just make you feel negative or make you feel bad, or to start muting them if you don't want to hurt people's feelings. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing any of the above. I think it's actually quite healthy to do so, and nobody should tell you who you should and shouldn't be following anyway. It's your account, it's your life. So go ahead and do that, and I promise you, maybe give it a week or two, you will feel the changes as it happens. The next step, very, very easy, is to write down a list of your top 5 strengths. Something that I like to do just to make me feel like I'm prepared to enter into a brand new year or a brand new season in my life is to write down the things that I know I'm good at. It's just to remind myself that I've started over again and I thrived through it, or I've been through really bad things and I survived. So if you can do the same for yourself in this new season, or if you're wanting to start fresh, then I always think that it's starting it on a good note when you remind yourself of your resilience and your perseverance and all the good things that you value about yourself too. And there's really no time for false humility here. Everyone has strengths, even if we don't want to admit it. So really dig down deep and see what you know you're proud of, that are, characteristics and traits that you might have. And I promise you, you will want to lean into those things in this whole new, fresh year or season that you're starting. And yet another thing you can start doing is setting a weekly or monthly intention. Now, if you're starting a brand new year, then this is a great tip to have. But even if you are starting in like the middle of, I don't know, March or July or something, then you can still practice this. When you set an intention, it just means something that you want to prioritize for the month. Intentions can be really small things like learning how to drive for the first time, getting my driver's license, or even big things like pursuing my business and trying to transition out of my job. Whatever it is, if you do set that intention every week or every month, it just guides you and helps you know what to prioritize and what you want to remember so that you're not also so overwhelmed by all the many, many goals that we might have. It's really important to just start small. And when I think of small things like intentions for the week or for the month, it makes things a little bit more manageable. My second to the last tip is to journal about this one really tough situation that you might have recently overcome, either in the previous year, quarter, or month. Ask yourself what you tried to do to deal with that situation. Ask yourself what were the facts around it, what might have led to that tough situation, and just try to evaluate maybe if there's anything you would have done differently. This is a great thing to do whenever you want to have a fresh start because you're trying to identify any patterns that might come up in the future, especially if these are situations you always find yourself in. And then you can ask yourself, what can I do differently to make sure that this situation doesn't affect me as badly or is more manageable in this new chapter that I'm starting in my life? And my final tip for starting a season right, for having that really cool fresh start feeling, is to give yourself a challenge to work towards. If it's the beginning of the year and you want to challenge yourself to do something by the end of the year, maybe it's a savings goal or maybe it's a certain revenue that you're striving towards, that's always a good thing to work towards. Challenging ourselves is actually a healthy way to be productive. It doesn't mean dwelling on failures and, only focusing on wins, but challenging yourself means knowing that you could very much fail in this challenge, but the fact that you tried means more than if you hadn't tried at all. Because remember that having challenges helps us grow as people, it helps us uncover some strengths we never knew we had, and it also makes us aware of some weaknesses that we might be prone to. And then that helps us deal with them. And I don't think there's any better way to have a fresh start, to feel like you're starting new and all that stuff, than if you were actually trying to change yourself for the better. And what better way to do that than by acknowledging new strengths and trying to eliminate those weaknesses as much as you can. So be sure to let me know in the comments below what you might be trying from this list of 10 things that will just make, any fresh season and new start a really good, positive one. And if there's anything you might add to the list below, I always love hearing your own suggestions, and I'm sure people reading the comments will also love it as well. And I'll see you in my next video very soon, and I really hope to make this year a really good one for all of us here in the community and the channel. And yeah, so without further ado, I'll see you at my next video, hopefully very soon. Bye!